You are sick right now and you are suffering from an illness that blocks your cold approach. You've had this illness since you were like 16 years old and now you don't even realize you have it because you've gotten used to it. You're lucky though, we can fix this in about 2 weeks. Let's get into it. So let me first tell you a story, okay? I was out with my friends, we were going to the nightclub and shit. It was fun, we were having a great time, we were laughing, my friends were drinking, I don't drink. And we were just like making jokes, cracking up. It was super fun. Then on the way there on the train station, I saw like a group of girls and I was just so in flow. I just went up to them and told them like, hey man, you're all very pretty, but you especially, you're very pretty. She was like a blonde girl, like chatted her up. We were laughing a little bit. Then I went back to my friends that were hyping me up, we were feeling so good. So then we were on the train ride, still laughing, still joking around. And then in the queue for the nightclub, we were talking to more women and it was like super cool. We were just laughing, having fun. And I remember feeling so flowy, not having any thoughts in my head. Just, I saw her and I was thinking like, yeah, damn, let's do this. No worries, no fucking overthinking, none of that stupid shit. So then we were inside of the nightclub and my friends went to the bar and I was just like, okay, let's get this. I saw a tall girl, went up to her, hey man, you're so tall. And I told her like, oh, tall girl's kind of my weak point, stuff like that. I was just super fucking flowy. And I felt so good about myself because I struggled to talk to women for so long. And now I just like did this so seamlessly. So then was a great night. Eventually all of us went home. And that night I wrote into my journal, damn, I really have become a player, something like that. So I go to sleep at 3. Next day I wake up and think like, yeah, damn, since I'm officially a player now, let's go out, let's do some cold approaches. So I drove into city center, I was walking around, saw a pretty girl. I was walking towards her and thinking, yeah, I'm gonna go speak to her. And then I passed her, I was just thinking like, okay, what the fuck? Well, anyways, next pretty girl, I was walking towards her. I passed her. I was just thinking, okay, wait, what the fuck's going on? Why was I so fucking smooth yesterday during the night and now I can't even say hi? What the fuck? So then I saw this next girl sitting on the stairs and I was thinking like, okay, this one is it. So I woke up and I passed her. So even though I was super smooth with the girls less than 24 hours ago, now I just could not do it at all. I couldn't even say hi. And that really had me wondering, why? Why the fuck am I so weird now? And of course, I figured out the solution why I was super smooth and then I was super shit. It was sleep deprivation. The illness you are suffering from right now and the illness that is keeping you from cold approaching right now is sleep deprivation. And I can already hear you being like, no, that's not true. I'm not sleep deprived. I just slept 8 hours this night. Bro, listen to me. Don't cope for a second, okay? You are most likely sleep deprived, okay? Listen, just listen to me for a second, okay? Because, okay, maybe you got 8 hours last night. Maybe you have pretty good sleep. If you have never done a cold approach before and you want to do one, good sleep will not be enough. You will need perfect sleep, okay? So listen to me. I made this checklist here to see if you have perfect sleep and we're just gonna go through it together. Let's go. So if you can say yes to all of these questions, you don't have sleep deprivation, but we're gonna go through it and you'll probably see, oh fuck, okay, maybe. Let's go. So I go to bed at the same time every night, including weekends. I wake up at the same time every day, including weekends. I didn't deviate from my sleep schedule in the last 2 weeks, including weekends. I sleep for 8 hours or more every night. And finally, I wake up without an alarm. If you can say yes to all of these questions, congratulations, you have perfect sleep. If not, keep watching so we can fix your sleep and you get the ability to cold approach. So now you know you have sleep deprivation. Let's see what happens with your mind when it is sleep deprived. The thing that happens, I call it the weakened mental state. You know how sometimes you don't really want to hit the gym and then you go anyways, you only had 6 hours of sleep, and you really try to fucking push as hard as you can, but you just can't seem to hit the same weight you hit on the last workout. That is the weakened mental state. Or your family is talking to you and you know they're not actually trying to annoy the shit out of you, but somehow you snap out of them anyways, even though you wouldn't have if you had proper sleep that night. You randomly start scrolling even though you know it's super fucking bad for you, or you're trying to focus on a book you're reading and you have to reread the same passage because you just can't comprehend what is written there. This is the weakened mental state and it almost feels like somebody turned the difficulty level of your life up by 2 notches. You know how in Minecraft you can play on easy difficulty or you can play on medium or you can play on hard? It's almost like somebody flipped a notch and now you're suddenly playing hard mode. Just that nobody actually made your life harder, You just didn't sleep well, which means your brain strength went down. And when your brain strength is down, of course, everything seems to be a harder task than it actually is. And as I said before, if you want to get your first cold approach, the weakened mental state will not be enough. Because I'm gonna have to tell you, cold approach, it is hard fucking mental work, especially the first few ones. Because of course, it's a new and scary situation. Same as with the gym. You don't want to try to hit a new PR when you've only had 6 hours of sleep. Makes sense, right? Why would you try to get a new situation, a new cold approach, when you've never done it before in your life on a fucking sleep-deprived mind? Makes zero sense, right? Because to get your first cold approach, you really have to win a mental battle against yourself. It is really just you versus you. You have this fear in your head that tells you, no, don't do this. We're gonna get rejected. It's gonna be so cringe. It's gonna be so painful. And then you just have to feel this fear, and you have to be strong enough in your mind to say, you know what? Fuck you brain. I'm gonna do this shit anyways. And that is a super fucking hard battle. And you do not want to show up to this battle on 6 hours of sleep, on 4 hours of sleep. You want to get minimum 8 hours for this. So let me compare this to the gym again. It makes sense to you not to show up unrested because you know, well, then I won't perform as good and then I won't make maximum progress. Same thing goes for cold approach, just that it's not a physical workout where you actually need to fucking push weights away from you. It's a mental workout where you need to fucking push through the fear. You will need to give it your all to overpower your fear, just how you need to give it your all to overpower the pain in the gym. So I guess you understand by now how this sleep deprivation fucks with your mental, fucks with your discipline, fucks with your ability to resist your fear, to push through it. So why do you still feel like you can't overpower this fear even when you've had 8 hours of sleep? How is that? Let me introduce you to the concept of sleep debt. By the way, sleep debt is what blocks your cold approach in this very moment. So you better listen up for this, yeah? Because man, it is fucking annoying. Sleep debt is so fucking annoying because it has lagging effects. I'll explain in a minute, okay? But think of it like this. You have 16 hours of waking time and then you have 8 hours of sleep, okay? And usually when you're awake for 16 hours and then you sleep for 8 hours, your 8 hours of sleep recover those 16 hours of waking time. Now what happens when you're out with your friends, you're in the nightclub, and instead of staying up 16 hours, you stay up 20 hours. And then you go to bed, and even though you get 8 hours, it doesn't recover all those 20 hours, it just recovers 16 of them. And now you have 4 hours of sleep debt. And these 4 unrecovered hours of sleep debt, they stay there. They stay there until you get more than 8 hours of sleep. Because think about it, you have this 4 hours of sleep debt right now, and then next day you're up for 16 hours and you sleep 8 hours, it only recovers those 16 hours you just stayed up. So the 4 hours are still there. They carry themselves over into the next day and the next day and the next day. They have this lagging effect, which makes them super fucking annoying. So the only way to repay sleep debt is by sleeping more than 8 hours in a night. So 8 hours of sleep is the minimum to recover the previous day, and then every hour you get in there additionally is put into repaying your sleep debt. And you definitely want to repay that sleep debt because your body keeps the score, okay? So it still remembers these 4 hours that it still needs, and it's going to give you a passive debuff of sleep deprivation for every single fucking day you live without having repaid those 4 hours. Your body is going to make you suffer from the weakened mental state until you give it that 4 hours of sleep debt, or however large your sleep debt is, back. Because this is where the problem comes in, right? Because nobody can sleep for 24 hours a day. Nobody can just say, okay, I'm going to repay my sleep debt all at once right now. I'm just going to sleep for 16 days and then everything should be all right. No, the problem is that you have a very low rate of repayment for this sleep debt. Right? Because realistically, how much longer can you sleep than 8 hours? Maybe 9.5. But then 10 hours, who the fuck sleeps 10 hours? And this is the annoying lagging effect I told you about. You may have 10 hours of sleep there right now, but you can only ever repay 1 or 1.5 hours per night, which means you're going to suffer from these 10 hours of sleep debt for 10 days. So you're probably realizing right now, oh fuck, I have a massive amount of sleep debt and I fucking need to sleep 10 hours for the rest of my life to repay all of this. You're lucky, because I think the body is merciful, and usually 2 weeks of perfect sleep, so sleep according to the checklist I presented to you earlier, is usually enough. I never needed more than 2 weeks of 9 hours every night to repay all of the sleep debt I had. So the way you fix your sleep and you regain your mental strength to get your cold approaches is by repaying your sleep debt. And the way to repay it, I pretty much already explained it to you. You have to sleep more than 8 hours a night for probably like 2 weeks, then you should be good to go. And yes, that means you will have to create a sleep schedule that is also active on the weekends, which means you will have to tell your friends, hey man, like this Friday I'm not there with you, go do something without me. And honestly, like you're probably gonna think like, no, I don't really wanna do that, I wanna meet my friends. Try it, trust me bro, try it. And you will notice, holy fuck, I lived all my life with sleep deprivation. I didn't even realize I still have this fucking illness inside of me. I feel so fucking great right now. I never want to go back. I promise to you, this is going to be you if you sleep perfectly for 2 weeks. It will make such a big fucking difference in your life that you will never want to go back from it. So if you take 2 weeks off to fix your sleep, you are going to regain your mental strength and you're going to realize, oh my God, I can overpower my fear now, you know? I can go up to her and tell her, hey, you're pretty now. And that is what I want for you, okay? Make sure you check out the first link in the description. It is a full course on your first cold approach. It has all the information you need to start cold approach and having pretty women in your life. So make sure you check that shit out. I'll see you in the next one.